Do you help people troubleshoot their computer problems? Citrix GoToAssist offers a secure cloud-based solution for IT and customer support professionals to provide live and unattended remote support to their employees and customers working from any computer or mobile device. For a 30-day free trial, simply visit gotoassist.com.
The question is, do you think these Chinese-based companies such as Alcatel, Xiaomi, Huawei, and Meizu are a serious threat to bigger OEMs, such as Samsung, because they are so low cost? Potentially, if any other brand is fighting on cost alone. And you'll have to pardon the slight blip as I turned my attention to the screen watching the live chat in TLDR. The stream blipped out for everybody. Oh, the joys of dealing with an internet connection that you can't necessarily count on being completely solid. And maybe there's an illusion to be drawn here. I've never used a product from any of those companies, so I can't speak to the overarching quality of the experience. But this is why it's very difficult for any company that might fight on price alone to survive in the marketplace. Not just exist, to survive, to thrive. When you're fighting on price, it's a race to the bottom. And there's only so much you're going to be able to do to cut your price. Because your costs are hard. You know, the price you pay, I pay $200 for this product. Seems reasonable, right? Well, if that company has to spend maybe that's a little too much, $199 to get that product to you, doesn't leave a lot of room for profit. And a company that can't make a lot of profit is probably not going to be around for the foreseeable future. So yes, I do believe Samsung, and I said this a few years ago, could be in bigger trouble because they are fighting on a battleground where it is about price and general experience. If you can get a solid Android-driven product and you can get it at a decent cost and it has every bit of hardware or specs that you might want out of an Android device, would you spend more money or would you spend less money? Most people, if everything else was equal, would probably want to spend less money. Well, there goes Samsung's profit margin. Suddenly, if the product is perceived as the same, they've lost that customer that's wanting to save money. It's one of the reasons why Apple's got a pretty good chunk of the market of the people who are not afraid to spend money. That's a good market to have. It's a great market to have. Who would you rather, if you were a business, I'll ask you this, if you were a business, who would you rather have as a customer? Someone who was trying to save money or someone who was okay with spending money? Let's just take this to a logical end. The customer that doesn't want to spend money isn't going to help your business because they're not going to spend money. They're not going to upgrade. They're going to cheap out. They're going to spend as little money as possible to get the experience they want. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a judgment call. You as a company, though, have to decide, well, how are you going to make your money? You don't make money, how are you going to keep your shareholders happy? How are you going to keep employees? How are you going to stay as a business? You probably can't. So fighting on price is a very delicate position because at the moment that Samsung gets undercut by someone who provides even a perceivably better experience at a much more affordable level, where do you think people are going to go? We'll stay with Samsung. Well, okay, then Samsung has to answer the question, what is the value of staying with Samsung? The moment I saw Samsung getting deeply involved with Tizen, I was excited. I was like, finally, okay, they're moving past where they've been with Android, one of the leading Android OEMs. I don't think it's going to be the case a year from now. And that's not slagging Samsung at all. It's just a market reality. When you're fighting for an audience that's all about cheap, where are they going to go? So what does Samsung do? Could they charge less for those devices? Well, if they're not getting subsidized, where are they going to make their money? They don't make money. Are they going to stay in business? It's how the world works. Again, not a judgment call, but it's another reason why it would have been very difficult for Samsung to continue the fight the way it was continuing the fight against Apple or against other Android OEMs. This was inevitable. no matter who the brand was. You can get a solid Android experience without spending a lot of money. It's true. Samsung has so many opportunities, and this is exciting because they have an array of products that to this point don't necessarily interoperate with one another as well as they could. That's the answer to me to this problem, because that's what they can do differently from every other OEM. They've got all these products. Now all they need to do is tie them together. Suddenly then, they might be able to compete in the same space as Apple, much the way that Apple's done it. When you're fighting for a race to the bottom, that's exactly where you're headed. If you want a solid customer, find the customer that's intent on supporting you and your business, because everybody else, they don't care whether you're around or not. Is that your customer? Do you want a customer who doesn't care who you are, what you're doing, what you have? Is that the customer you want? I can tell you this. Most people would say, no, that's not the customer I want. I want a customer that's going to support me. So I hope Samsung appeals to its base. I think they've got a fantastic community of supporters, and I think they can see this through. I think Samsung has enough brain power. I think they've got enough brand equity. But they're going to have to struggle to get out of the position of being in the middle. And that's exactly where they're being squeezed from both sides. So it's not just that these other companies, whether they're Chinese or China-based or not, I think other companies are a serious threat until Samsung answers the question of who are we going to find as our customers? How are we going to give those customers more of what they want? It's a great question. And I hope Samsung is able to find the answer on their own, because I'm sure they're not listening to me. I want more options in the marketplace. So I would never want to see a company disappear. But you gotta understand, man. This is why free is a very, very dangerous part of a business model. Very dangerous. Because when someone perceives the value as free, there is no value in what you have.